Hey kindergartners, welcome to our next art lesson. Today we're going to be talking about cardboard building, and I love teaching my kindergartners how to use cardboard because it's such a fun material and it's so easy to work with, and it's so cool because you can make some really interesting 3D artworks using cardboard. And in art class, we like to use some cool materials to help us build with cardboard, because sometimes when you're building with cardboard, if you use glue or even sometimes just regular tape, it doesn't really hold very well, or it takes a long time to dry. So I have this cool stuff called glue tape that I'm going to talk to you about today. And I call it glue tape because it's kind of sticky like glue on one side when you get it wet, and it kind of acts like tape because it's in small strips. So I'm going to show you today how to use cardboard to make maybe a person or an animal, and we're going to practice using our glue tape today, and then we're also going to decorate our cardboard creation when we're finished. So check out this video and give it a try today. Today you're going to need some cardboard, some glue tape, scissors, and your water sponge. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the glue tape. The way that this works is one side has kind of glue on it and it's shiny. Okay, so that's the shiny side. The other side is not so shiny. The side that's shiny is the side that needs to be touched to the water sponge. That's kind of like licking an envelope. When it gets wet, it gets sticky. So a couple tricks to cutting with cardboard. I like to tell my students to start cutting about halfway through. And if you can't push anymore, if you can't seem to get through, to flip it over and go from the other side. That kind of makes it a little bit easier especially if you have shorter scissors, or if you have hands that aren't maybe that as strong yet. This is a great way to help get through the cardboard and to practice cutting through thick things like cardboard. So I'm going to cut my cardboard into some random shapes. I'm going to do some squares, some skinny rectangles, and maybe some smaller, just different sized squares. I'm going to start thinking about different things that I could make out of cardboard. We could talk about some different animals, or maybe some people that you could try to make. And you're going to see in just a minute how I can rearrange my cardboard pieces to make different shapes and different animals and things. So I could sort through my pieces and kind of arrange things in one way. So maybe I could try to make a person. Or if I don't like that, maybe I could try something different, like an animal, maybe a dog or a cat. I think for today's example, I am going to make a giraffe. Okay, so I'm ready for the glue tape. The glue tape is great because you can also cut it easily like paper. So if you don't need this big strip, then you can go ahead and cut it smaller. Again, remember the shiny side is the side that you want to touch the sponge, and you'll notice right away that it gets sticky. So I'm gonna shiny side down to the sponge. It's nice and sticky, and I can stick it to my cardboard just like tape. So I'm gonna do that to all my pieces, and I'm gonna attach them all together. One tip is to make sure your sponge isn't soaking wet. I usually get it pretty wet and then kind of squeeze it out a little bit so that it's not soaking wet. So now when I pick it up and I flip it over, you're going to notice it's really floppy and that it doesn't stand up. It's not super strong. So the tip I have for that is that you do need to glue tape both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well, and then you'll notice it'll get a lot stronger. So now it's a lot stronger, and when I pick it up, it doesn't flap over and it's a lot more solid. I'm going to add details with markers. You could do it with paints or anything else. And here's our final giraffe. So it's super cool to use cardboard because you can make something that's 3D and it's kind of easy to cut through. You could use any kind of cardboard for this. You could save cereal boxes, you could do an Amazon box, any kind of cardboard like that will work great. And see if you can come up with some sort of a cool animal or a person and decorate your cardboard creation.